Over the last few years, there's been a shift in what clubs look for in managers. It used to be if you won a trophy, you were good. Or if you massively overperformed with a team that's quite crap, then you were considered a good manager. Now, you can get relegated from Premier League with an embarrassing points tally with 60% possession, and that will get you a top job. And yeah, obviously I'm talking about Space Raider Red. I am talking about Kompany. But there's loads more examples about this that I'll talk about later in a minute. But Kompany has just guided Burnley to 24 points. That is 0.63 points a game. And that is good enough to land you at Bayern Munich job. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, Kompany must be half decent. They won the league with Burnley with 101 points. They absolutely pissed it, playing a certain style of football. They were averaging 60-70% possession most weeks. They had more XG basically every single game. It was complete domination, every area at pitch. They were playing out front back. They had high possession stats. They'd win ball back really, really high up pitch, similar to Man City. The fullbacks were getting up but tucking in at the same time to sustain attacks. To the point where Pep himself came out and said that Kompany will eventually be Man City's manager. So Kompany is sort of known as being Pep Jr. And this is when he's still in Championship. So when he gets to Premier League and starts getting slapped about every week, is it in Kompany's best interest to change his play style to try and stay up? Or keep playing the football who are at Championship to keep the brand that is Kompany's football or Pep's football? It's not in Burnley's best interest at all, because him being that stubborn has got him relegated. But in a manager's own selfish world, in his own head, it's more beneficial to keep playing that way. When you've got top Championship players, you can play this way in Championship. You know, you've got players to dominate Rotherham, Preston and Millwall, but when you get promoted, you have got to adapt. Your players were best in league in Championship, but the worst here, and you're still trying to dominate possession. You're still trying to be on front foot against teams worth £1 billion that will slap you with their eyes shut. Sean Dyche is 100 times the manager that Kompany is. He knows what he's got. He knows what he's working with. Focus on not conceding 78 goals for a start. Take a step back, man. Realise that you are not some big fish in a small pond like you are with Burnley's players in Championship. In Premier League with them players, you are a tuna in Atlantic. But managers are no longer based on success. Because if they were, then Europe's elite would have been sniffing after David Moyes after he won a European trophy with West Ham. But that's just not how it works. You're based on your playing style, and it's almost like that's it, and that nothing else even matters anymore. If you play a certain way, that's good enough. Because there's only one Pep, but every club wants a Pep in modern football, don't they? Because that's seen as the only way to succeed, which obviously ain't true. Like I've just said, West Ham won Conference, a European trophy, with Moyes. Moyes' football is disgusting. Whereas Brighton, who everybody is obsessed with, playing football the right way, have never in the history won a major trophy. Ever. So Moyes' prison football will win you a European trophy, but De Zerbi total football wins you fuck all. So, who is the real successful manager here? Who should be the more sought after manager? It should be Moyes. But it's not, it's De Zerbi. I completely understand that clubs want to build something that can challenge for top. Every team wants to challenge for something. And that is done by playing Pep style that dominates ball and wins it back in final third constantly. But managers should be based on winning things. That should be the priority that clubs look at. It's got to be some sort of factor in there somewhere. There's surely got to be some winning mentality instilled into your decision making when you're trying to select a manager to manage a club. And there's also more than one way to play football. Managers are just at a point where playing Pep style no matter what gets you a better job even if you keep failing. Like take Kompany as an example. He started as a manager at Anderlecht, who were one of the best teams in Belgium easily. In league, he finished fourth in his first season and then third in his second season. He won no trophies, he won nothing. At a team like Anderlecht, if you're not winning trophies, that is genuinely closer to getting sacked than it is to getting a better job. But because he plays Pep's way, then he goes from Anderlecht to Burnley. And to be fair here, he was fantastic in Championship. He came in and won league straight away. I'm not taking that away from him at all. Now, a proper manager would recognise that this style of play is alright to play in Championship because you've got them level of players. But you are going to be twerking for big dogs if you're playing that in Premier League. But he kept his style of play all season at Burnley's expense, gets them relegated, and then somehow falls up the stairs to one of the biggest clubs in the world in Bayern Munich. Because he plays Pep's way. Like Kompany were on call with Bayern Munich for 5 minutes and then he said, yeah. He probably thought they got wrong number. He couldn't believe his luck. And the best example of how stupid this is nowadays is Russel Martin at Southampton. He's had 3 managerial jobs in his life. He started at MK Dons not even 5 years ago, finished 18th in League One and then 13th in League One. So 2 very, very average seasons, 2 bottom half finishes with a team that then finished 3rd season after when he'd gone. But, and I cannot stress this enough, who cares? Because he had a 53 pass goal. Oh my God. League finishes mean nothing. Nothing. You win trophies now based on possession and XG. Like this were in Telegraph. A 56 pass goal and playing like Man City. Who's bothered at the 13th? Just ignore that little bit in article. He plays like Pep and fails. But that don't matter because he plays like Pep. So after 2 bottom half finishers playing pretty football, he gets a promotion to Swansea. Somehow, where he then finishes 15th and 10th, which is his record finish, by the way. 10th is his record finish, and he's sat managing it Championship. So this is now 4 seasons that he's managed. He's achieved nothing, not even got close to a playoff finish, but he plays a certain way. So relegated Southampton with a £200 million squad come in for him. What has he done to warrant managing these players? He finishes 4th, one of the most expensive squads in Championship history. He finished behind Ipswich, who had just come up from League One. And I'm filming this and posting it before playoff finals, so hopefully he wins because I hate Leeds. But league position-wise, he's failed everywhere, every season. Like, at what point does this stop? Because even if he fails to get promoted here, he's going to end up at a club like Forest next, or a Fulham or a Wolves, someone like that. And then after that, he's going to go to like PSG. How are these managers constantly getting better jobs with no success anywhere? Now, speaking of Ipswich, who Southampton finished behind and Russel Martin finished behind, McKenna is the only one who fits this bill that can justify getting a top job. I've said before, Ipswich are the best League One team I've ever seen in my life. And they didn't even win league. Like Schumacher at Plymouth had a better year. But Ipswich came to Barnsley, one of the last games of that season. And we were good then. We finished in playoffs. We got to playoff final. We only lost to... I've said it before, we only lost to some absolute bollocks. And Ipswich arseholed us 3-0. They are one of the best teams I've ever seen us play in any league, in any cup, ever. They are one of the best teams I've ever seen us play. He's got promoted from League One. He's still playing his own branded stuff, fair enough. But he's backed it up by getting promoted again. He ain't got promoted, then being relegated straight away, going down with a whimper, a pathetic attempt at staying up. He's not finished bottom half 3 seasons in a row and kept getting better jobs. He's proving that he's good enough by constantly being successful season after season in harder leagues. If he gets a top job like Chelsea or Man United or even someone like Brighton that he's linked with, you could understand it. And it is deserved. Yeah, it's tough on Ipswich, but that's football, innit? Not so much Brighton, but if one of super teams, if Chelsea or Man United comes in for you, I am not bothered where you are going. I feel like clubs are so desperate to find next young Pep in an attempt to do like an Ipswich to progress really fast up leagues that they overlooked so many factors to try and bring this type of manager in. Like, are your players even good enough to keep ball on floor 24/7, play it out front back at all costs, dominating possession? Millwall bringing Joe Edwards, who likes to play this brand of football, who was sat with Millwall being 4th bottom after they'd finished, I think, 8th, just outside at playoffs last season. To then reappoint Neil Harris, who plays lumpet football, absolutely disgusting, some of the worst stuff you've ever seen, wins 8 out of his 13 games. Like, that form under Neil Harris had him finishing 2nd at games that he were there. Certain brands of football are suited to certain clubs. You can find success in loads of different ways playing loads of different brands of football. It can depend on like the culture of your club. Millwall are most successful with a lumpet gaffer. Barnsley are most successful with a ridiculous high press. So are Leeds. It depends on your club, what your fans expect, what the culture of the club is, how big your pitch is. It can depend on so many different things. How big your stadium is. If they're proper on top of players like this, you don't want to be playing pass it out football. You want to get on top of them, don't you? Clubs have got to stop focusing on we must play Pep's way. That is the only way to succeed. Because unless you've got Pep's players or the equivalent to that in respective league, then you are going to get battered. And at this point, you can't even blame managers for doing it. Honestly, you can't. Because you don't even have to be successful. You don't even have to be good at your job. You don't even have to get it top half. If you're playing a certain way, you can get relegated and go up. If you're shit at your job and you play like Pep, a team in an higher division will see you play that way and want you. So you can just keep failing. You can keep failing forever at your current club because eventually one in an higher division will think, 70% possession, but you're 17th. That'll do me. It is selfish for managers. It's in the interest of them and not the club that's paying the bills, but that's a given anyway, innit? Like, I, for one, would rather watch paint dry than watch Barnsley try and force it out from back at every single opportunity with Barnsley players, not Man City's players. I want to watch high-intensity football with loads of goals. Get it up pitch quick, get loads of shots off, make it exciting. I don't want 60% possession matches where it's just boring. Like, leave that to Premier League. That's what they're good at. We want exciting football down here in proper leagues. But thank you for watching. I just had to get this off my chest with managers and somehow failing, but getting better jobs constantly because it really is a topic that needs talking about. It's crazy how it keeps happening. Love you all. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you're subbed. I've got a Lambo to buy and I will see you in a bit. Also, just thinking, my Sunday League team, we have about 60% possession and we finished about 6th. So I'm assuming that my gaffer will now get a professional job.